Now that we have Dr. Kiran Majumdar-Shaw here as well, welcome ma'am. I would request Mr. Hussain Kumarji to welcome the guests with the bouquet and books. Chief Minister of Karnataka, Shri Basavaraj Bommai. Would request Mr. Hussain Kumarji to welcome Dr. Rajiv Kumar, Vice President, Niti Aayog. Welcome Dr. Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, Chairperson and Founder, Biocon. Welcome to Dr. Shalini Rajneesh, Additional Chief Secretary, Government of Karnataka. And finally, welcome to Mr. Prashant Prakash, Partner at Axel Partners. Thank you, Mr. Hussain Kumarji. We have with us Shri Rajiv Kumarji, Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog. I would request sir to please come on stage to say a few words.
Honorable Chief Minister of Karnataka, Shri Bommai Sahab, Mrs. Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, Prashant, Shalini and Kumarji, and all the gathered audience here, and all the award winners who will be felicitated afterwards. First and foremost, congratulations to all the award winners, and also congratulations to the organizers for putting this together, for putting this impressive summit together and all the sessions that they've had. It's of course a real privilege and pleasure for me to be here addressing this, and thanks to Prashant and to others and to Abhinav to have given me this opportunity, Abhinav Mathur. Friends, in the about 15 minutes I think I have, is that right? Or is it less? Prashant, 15 minutes? 15 minutes. Yeah? Okay. So, I just wanted to say one, that CSR, in the form of philanthropy, is of course a very long tradition in this country. And it was purely voluntary until the law arrived. But the point I want to make is that CSR, the way I understand it now and the way I hope all of us understand it, is different from philanthropy. It's not charity, and it should not be charity. And I think this is where I think the limit, as it were, CSR should be indistinguishable with corporate objective. It should be a part of corporate objective. And I think it should become a part of the core business of the company. And I think this was well established, this was well propagated by somebody I used to know very well, Yogi Deveshwar, when he started off with the triple bottom line of the financial, social, and environmental. I think that's what all the companies need to do. And I think now it's clear, and there's a movement in the US already called conscious capitalism, which makes the point very strongly that capitalism as it developed in the 17th and 18th century cannot progress any longer. And companies which try and maximize just profits, and that's the only bottom line, do not succeed now in the new world. Companies which look after the social impact, the environmental impact, and actually make this as a core part of the business and serve a social function are the ones which succeed today and are succeeding today. So therefore, you have got this new category of social impact analysis. And I think that's the one that we need to look after and go after. And friends, in India, this is a critical imperative. India is the only country in the world history, and I am saying this advisedly, which is trying to make the transition from a low income to a middle income economy while facing the real constraint of the carbon footprint, and also facing the real constraint of doing so in a full-fledged, full-blown democracy, and a parliamentary democracy, so that we can neither afford inequity, we can neither afford to leave people out, and so have to take inclusion as we go along, and we also have to take care of the carbon footprint. Others did it and then retrofitted it. The latest example being China. But now we don't have that luxury. We cannot get away by doing it as we like and then retrofitting it. And also in the social fabric, we can't let the social fabric become more inequitable and then hope that we will be able to sew it all together. No, it cannot achieve it. So for the country as a whole, for India today, the triple bottom line has to become an internal, integral part of our business policy. And therefore, I hope that all corporates who are gathered here will internalize it and will actually accept it and accept that wonderful line which says that we have to do well by doing good. And that's the one that we need to think about. So in this context, I am somewhat surprised and very unpleasantly surprised to find that 62% of our companies, listed companies, do not meet their CSR requirements. And either they don't do it at all or they underfund it. 62%. Now that's a huge number. And I hope that this summit will send out a message. And all of us should owe it to ourselves and to our society, and as I said, to our country, that this cannot be business as usual. And moreover, I just found out that a huge amount of money, for me an unimaginable amount of money, upwards of 80,000 crore, lies in unutilized CSR funds. Now I think this is something, again, all of this needs to change. But so the central message must be here that it's not something that we're doing for somebody else. It's for ourselves. And as has come out of COP26, as has come out of IPCC report, nobody will benefit if everybody is not taken along together and if we don't take care of our environment. So that's what we have to do. But of course, there is some very good news, and I must share that with you, and I'm sure you know that we have crossed the milestone of 1 lakh crore of CSR funding up to now. And that's amazing. That's just amazing. It's and this 2018, we had 20,000 crore of it. In 2019-20, we had 24,000 crore of it. And I'm requesting and I'm hoping that this trend will continue and not be allowed to come down, whatever might happen. So I think that's the very good news that I thought we'll want to share. But the other part of this, however, is that a lot of it, as Shalini ji pointed out, one is concentrated around urban metropolises and locations and so on, but is also concentrated in a few sectors, and education and health being primary. And I'm sure all of you know that there are lots of other sectors which require our attention, whether it's vocational skills, or it's sanitation, or clean water, or municipal garbage, which can be now converted into energy and ethanol, and all of that can do with CSR funding. But let me point to you 4 areas which I think are important for CSR and where CSR must come forward. The first one is, of course, nutrition. And I think it's a stigma on all of us sitting here, that 34% of our children remain undernourished today. And a large number is stunted and wasted. We don't deserve this stigma after 75 years of our independence. And I think we can tackle it. We can tackle it tomorrow. You know, if we put our mind to it, because whatever we make up our mind on, we deliver and we achieve. So I think the corporates must think, because a child undernourished means pretty much a child lost to the knowledge economy, because the brain doesn't develop, you know, to the required level. And I think therefore, and this has become one of my major priorities in Niti Aayog. So that's the first area I hope you will, you know, come forward with. The second, which is connected in some sense, because they come together in the form of Anganwadis, where you can all work together to improve them, is preschool learning. Nobody thinks about that. But you consider that 85% of our children, 85% of our children don't have any kind of learning at all until they reach class age 6, and when they go to grade 1, and there they are destined already to the back benches, because they have not had, unlike our children, any preschool learning. Both these things can be put together in the Anganwadis. If you can convert them into centers of nourishment and preschool learning. And I must name here the fact that I found very pleasant surprise that Vedanta is a company which has put up 3,000 or so Nandan Ghars, which has converted Anganwadis into learning centers as well, and trained the Anganwadi workers. And I think they do deserve a hand from you all. So I think that's the second area that I wanted to talk about. The third is disability. You know, and there are a very large number of, you know, specially enabled, people, children, young people here. And I think this is for some reason, and I was told by somebody who is at the foundation called ADAPT, and their founder, Mrs. Milu Altour, that corporate funds do not get attracted to disability, and I think that we owe it to him. And the final area is actually innovation. And there we have to, our country can become an innovative country. In Niti Aayog, we've got the Atal Innovation Mission, which has put up the Atal Tinkering Labs, 9,000 of them today, and the Atal Incubation Centers, 70 of them. And with your help, with the CSI help, this 9,000 can become 90,000. And that's what we need to do, because we need to change our school system from what we've inherited, the rote and so on and so forth, to children who can be exposed in their secondary levels to optical sensors, to electronic benches, you know, to 3D printing. And I think that's what will create a new India as we go forward. So those are the 4 areas that I put to you, that you can direct your funds to. And let me then take you to the aspirational districts. I was been recently to Warangal and to do 2 aspirational districts in Telangana. And because CSR funding was not coming to these aspirational, which are really the least developed districts of our country, the 112 of them, the central PSUs have been asked to put in CSR money, and they put in 1,300 crores. And I'm sure this can be doubled, tripled, or quadrupled with your help. And these districts, when they come up to the national average, would mean that India has actually grown the way it should have grown. And this is Niti Aayog's, one of the major programs. So therefore, I'm very happy to see the Akanksha portal, because that is where all of us can come together and collaborate with the states, because states is where the action is happening. And therefore, if you collaborate with all the state governments and go to their aspirational districts and look after these 4 areas that I've talked about, I think CSR will really contribute to this country's development. And finally, friends, I think a well-working and a robust CSR mechanism is a keystone to building the trust between the government and the corporates and the civil society. And I think that's what you need today, that all the 3 stakeholders, and you must involve the civil society to actually do your third-party evaluation and to give your reports. So if all the 3 can come together on the basis of a robust CSR, then I think we would have created the trust and we would have brought all the stakeholders to make development, as the Prime Minister says, a Jan Andolan. And unless development and Vikas becomes a Jan Andolan, I don't think, when it becomes a Jan Andolan, India will achieve the aspirations that it has, which are very high. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful words.